I did catch this afternoon on the way in, or should I say on the way back, to Ottawa, the remarks that were being made by some in the Conservative Party with regard to the fact that we were discussing these matters with one of the opposition party, which is the Bloc Québécois. For your information, I'm going to read to you one sentence, and Mr. Bélanger will give you copies of the full letter that dates from September 9th, 2004. And it goes like this. It's addressed to Her Excellency Adrienne Clarkson, then Governor-General of Canada. I'll read this sentence for you. We respectfully point out that the opposition parties who together constitute a majority in the House have been in close consultation, and the three signatories of that letter are the Honourable Stephen Harper, Leader of the Opposition, Gilles Duceppe, Leader of the Bloc Québécois, and Jack Layton, Leader of the New Democratic Party. So I think that might be of interest for you when you realize that this is quite normal for the three opposition parties to work together.
2004, that Duceppe saying that, Harper saying that, your guy saying that. There was no talk of a coalition. This is a coalition. And now let's just go. Jack Layton said he told the caucus yesterday that they had an agreement with the Bloc to wait for an economic crisis to happen so they could push the Conservatives out and go to the Liberals to form a coalition. That's what he says in the taped conversations the Conservatives provided us.
I'm being very careful about the difference between what some people are having those tapes say and what they actually say. The part that I was able to consult and read has Mr. Layton saying quite clearly that as soon as possible, early on, he was working with the Bloc. I was there. Mr. Bélanger was there. That was Thursday in the antechamber. Don't forget, the three opposition parties work together all the time, in close proximity physically, and we talk all the time. And that's what happened that day. Further to that, there were very structured meetings that took place on Friday. I, again, took part in the meetings concerning the Bloc Québécois. The talks that have taken place so far that are arriving at their final culmination point and have gone extremely well with both parties. As you know, the talks are with the Liberals for a coalition, and the Bloc would support that coalition. The talks have been quite clear on both the procedural level. There have been a lot of talks on that level because it's relatively new, and then on the substantive level with regard to policy. House privileges involved for the members whose conversations have been taped, illegally intercepted, and broadcast. But we're also looking at the possible application and studying the possible application of the criminal code. We're already in contact with senior lawyers in that regard. I'll give you an example. The election was on October 14th. On the 17th, I was with Yvon Godin, who has been working, as you know, for years on employment insurance. We were with a community group in Montreal. Mr. Duceppe was there, as were a bunch of Bloc MPs. I was there with Mr. Godin, with Mr. Layton. These are issues on which we have a lot in common. It's not a surprise to anyone that on many social and economic issues, despite our profound differences on constitutional matters, the Bloc and the NDP see eye to eye. So on something like employment insurance reform, it's not surprising that we talk. But the question specifically is, when did the talks start on bringing together a coalition of the NDP and the Liberals that the Bloc could back? The answer to that is when the economic financial update was brought down on Thursday and when it was leaked on Wednesday.
Mr. Layton lying to his caucus when he said he left this clear impression that I had to deal with the Bloc Québécois. It started a long time ago when we were waiting for an economic crisis like this blunder that Harper did.
No, I don't think that that's a fair reading, Mr. Fife, and I'll leave it to you and to your viewers to decide what they want to do with the verbatim of that. What I see here is a desperation move by the Conservatives. Frankly, there's nothing in there other than a leader of a party doing the same thing that he had done with other leaders in 2004, sat down, talked with the other opposition parties, and prepared to address himself to the Governor General on an important issue, because it's not up to the government to withdraw its confidence in Parliament. Parliament withdraws its confidence in the government. That's what this is about, and that's where we're heading. Yes.
Code violations that you're alleging, because I understand they inadvertently were invited in on the call.
No, that would be a misstatement of fact. They were given the coordinates. If you know how these calls work, if you receive, it's not as if someone phoned the guy's office, he picked up the phone, and all of a sudden he was part of a conference call. He received the coordinates. The Conservatives actively went into the conference call, recorded it, and then broadcast it. So it's not a question of, whoops, somebody left me a message on my answering machine and it wasn't for me. It's not a question of receiving a fax for the wrong person. Well, I've already spoken to the person I consider to be the best in the field, and he's going to prepare a formal opinion for us. But at first blush,
Qui était sur l'appel?
Do you
Oui,
know
nous savons,
who was
mais
on the
je
call?
préfère le garder
Yes,
pour
we
l'instant.
know, but I prefer not to
Non,
reveal
c'est
it
un
at
député.
present.
Derrière moi. Look, the simplest way to put it is this. For years, Stephen Harper's main challenge has been to try to convince Canadians that he doesn't have a hidden agenda, while at the same time reassuring his base that he, of course, does. Well, now the cat's out of the bag. When you come up with an economic financial update that doesn't even touch on stimulating the economy as we head into the worst economic times in generations, but you go after women's right to have equal pay for work of equal value, you go after union rights, it's a red flag in front of a bull. It was a terrible miscalculation. We're not going to give them another chance. We know exactly what we're up against. We're structured, we're organized, we've worked very hard for the past 4 days, and you're going to see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. The fact that they were illegally intercepting and taking part in a conversation that they had no right to be part of, and Mr. Flaherty's interventions today are, for me, both indications that the Conservatives are panicking. They don't know what to do. Look at what we've seen in the past few hours. On Friday, we had the Prime Minister petulant in front of the cameras, defiant, not going to change a word. I had done all the TV interviews with Mr. Flaherty on Friday. We're not changing a comma. Then all of a sudden we had Mr. Baird out yesterday, and we couldn't find him after, but saying, we're just kidding. We're not going to touch party financing. It was never about that. It's about not acting on the economy in a structured way at a time of grave international crisis. And the three opposition parties are of the same view. It's time to act. And that's what this is about. As far as I'm concerned, we shouldn't be giving them another chance. I mean, they were kind enough to go after their hard right-wing agenda at a time when they were supposed to be giving a financial update to stimulate the economy. Instead of stimulating the economy, they have a policy of we do no wrong, we're always right, so they can't even admit that some of what they've done has cost 350,000 manufacturing and forestry jobs. And they went after women's right to have equal pay for work of equal value and the right to strike in the public sector when 105,000 civil servants had just signed the same week. So they were giving an ideological shot across everyone's bow. And you know what? We're going to call them on it, and we're going to give Canadians the government that they deserve, a government that respects and reflects their values. Thank you.